You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Little Fish Theater for their presentation of The Country House. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Holly Baker-Kreisworth. I am the director of The Country House. I've been at Little Fish for something like 13 years, and I split my time between acting and directing here. And for this one, I actually directed and did the sound design and did the prop design.
So, question, why did you decide to do this piece? I mean, what do you like so much about it?
I was at the late Samuel French store in Hollywood, which is so sad that it closed down now. I was with my husband, Bill, who's also in the show, and I just was walking around trying to find out what scripts were out there that I might want to direct. And so I bought, I think, 4 or 5 scripts. I knew Donald Margulis because we did Dinner with Friends here a couple years ago, and I knew that he was a writer that just spoke to audiences, spoke to actors, directors, and so when I read it, I knew that we could do it both in this space and that I could do it justice. When I read a script, if I can see it on the page, I know that I can direct it. And I saw it, and luckily Little Fish chose it to do, and here we are.
I really loved the piece. First of all, not only was it about theater, now obviously if you come to a theater, you're going to love theater, but it's also about family too, and everyone will be able to identify with family. Yeah,
it really is. Everyone has lost a loved one probably when they get to a certain age. Everyone has lost a boyfriend, girlfriend, there's cancer, there's everything. And then this is a family of actors who feel everything so intensely because they are artists. And so I feel like everybody in the audience will be able to relate to somebody or something that's being said in this play.
80% of a director's job is casting. What do you look for in your casting?
Oh, my goodness. This cast came in like gangbusters. We had a great amount of people who came out, but when I saw these people together, and I've worked with a few of them before, and a few were pretty new to me, but once I saw them put on the skins, basically, of these characters, I knew that they were the right ones to cast. And then once I did the very first read and I saw their chemistry together, I knew that I was right.
Yeah, well, I love the cast. I thought they were fantastic. In general, I really love the cast of Little Fish Theater. In fact, I once commented, that I don't think I've ever seen a bad theater piece from here, and people ask me why, and that's the reason is because you guys don't do original work. All the work you do is either classical or it's won like dozens of awards, or just everyone says this piece is just fantastic and everyone just knows that. But as for casting, you got to have, with a great show, you have a great cast, right? Guys have always just had a great cast.
We're very lucky to have a beautiful amount of artists that work here, and that everyone is so committed. And I'll tell you, in a space this small of about 50 to 60 seats, when you're sometimes 2 feet away from an audience member or 10 feet away from an audience member, you better know your stuff, because if you're faking it, they're going to know. And we all know that, when we're on stage, off stage. So we know that we better have our act together, basically. And the actors here rise to the occasion every single time.
Well, I really loved the piece tonight. I love your direction in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I am Bill Walsky. I played the role of Elliot Cooper in tonight's performance. I'm from Cleveland, and I've been acting with Little Fish Theater now for 13 years. I've done almost 30 fully staged productions here. I'm a Tier 1 company member, and for me, it's the only game in town. I love working here.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
Elliot Cooper. He is the son of famed actress Anna Patterson and the brother of the recently deceased Kathy, who the family has come to mourn in this story.
What's your take on your character?
Well, he's certainly sort of a whore for attention. He's damaged goods, too. And, I've done a lot of thinking about mental illness over the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm certain that he suffers from bipolar manic depressive disorder, and it's a shame when you see somebody like that because they do things that they can't help. And he is one person, sort of the black sheep in a family of successful theater and film personalities who never made it, and I guess always feels like he sort of has his back against the wall and has something to prove, and he's decided in the piece where we see him, rather than to be constructive, to be sort of a spanner in the works and to be a disruptor. He also is somebody who is probably in something of a downward spiral because of the loss that he feels from the death of his sister, with whom he was very, very close.
Have you ever gone to family reunions and there's always like one person in the family who's just not doing very well? People are like getting promotions, they're having grandchildren or children and grandchildren. Always one guy just not doing that well, and it's kind of like you don't know what to say. You know what I mean? That's what your character is kind of like.
Yeah, it's really hard to look at a person and say you're bringing this upon yourself because they're so inside of that situation that they'll never be able to hear you. And usually it really is a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And at one point in the story, his brother-in-law Walter, who's a famous director, says to him, "You are on everybody's I will not work with list." It's a horrible thing to hear, but you can't hear that when you're inside of it. Maybe someday, way down the road, when he gets help or medication or a new perspective, he'll be able to look back and see this. But at the time, you just, and as an actor, you have to stay inside of that, and you have to understand what it's like to root for this character despite his very obvious shortcomings, and it's kind of like that in real life too.
You know what the hardest part of my job is? Usually, I go to theaters, right? Usually, every theater has like a youth acting program because it brings in so much money, right? And I hate it. I hate it because the people who are actually the leads are the people whose parents donate the most money. That's just always the case. The fantastic actors aren't the leads. And also, do you know that those teachers never tell these kids the truth because they're paying them? If they tell them the truth, they'll leave, right? Guess who's the only one who will tell them the truth? It's me. So it's almost my duty that I gotta tell this person, you have a choice between being a doctor or being an actor. You stink as an actor. I mean, come on. Or basically, I'm a little more polite. I say,
sure.
You got to show me something. I mean, in your part, play a character actor, do something, show yourself that you're great. You know what I mean? It's hard, and that reminded me about your character. Someone just had to give you the truth when you were young. They're probably scared of your mother. You know what I mean?
Oh, certainly. And we see some of that as all of the threads come loose in the end. There's this really dramatic scene between Elliot and Anna, his mother, where she kind of lays it all out for him. And it depends, I suppose. When you have these 6 different personalities on stage and you have a diverse audience too, your young woman will probably identify with your young female Susie, the granddaughter in the show. Your adult female will identify with Nell. Your mature female will identify with Anna, and so on. So it's very interesting. Nobody really ever sees what kind of performer Elliot is. Nobody ever really sees what kind of writer he is. So I suppose it's kind of up for debate whether or not he's truly lousy or he just hasn't gotten the break. If you identify with Elliot, you're going to root for him, and maybe Anna will seem like she's not as supportive as a mother should be. If you identify with Anna, you will understand and maybe think that she's just trying to protect her son by trying to keep things more realistic and lowering his expectations, even though he has these lofty goals like he wants to attain, like the rest of his family did in their chosen field. So in that respect, I think it's a really well-written script because, again, it all depends on whose perspective you choose as the audience member to adopt. And hopefully, the people who saw the show tonight each got to come away with a different perspective, and maybe that makes them think, and maybe that makes them discuss the show, and maybe that makes them come back to see it again from a different point of view. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I love the piece. First of all, again, I love theater, so obviously it had these, it had these grand strokes that just made me smile and all that. I love the acting too. First of all, it's very identifiable because it's about a family of some successful, a couple of people who aren't that successful. You always see that during Thanksgiving, right? And I loved your acting. Your acting was so brilliant. It just moved me. And basically, because I fail every now and then too. There's a couple of times, a couple of times I had some pretty bad interviews. I got blacklisted from a theater once and all that. No, things like that happen. But hey, in my opinion, if you haven't been blacklisted from a theater, you're just not doing your job. So I just loved the performance. I loved your performance in particular.
Thank you. The play is really a love letter to theater. If you enjoy theater, especially as a performer or a writer or a director, if you're active in the theater world, you'll love this show. In terms of what kind of energy I put into my performance, again, as an actor, I think that it was very easy to identify with this character because we all have those moments of insecurities and we all have those moments of rage. And, it's, a wonderfully written script. It's a wonderfully written role. I'm very lucky to have had a chance to try and do it justice. And I got to tell you, you're never going to be blacklisted here, Ashton. It's always good to have you back, and thanks you so much for coming to see the show tonight.
Once again, love the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Belinda Howell. I'm a member of Little Fish, and I'm really happy to be coming back here to do this great play, The Country House. It's just wonderful. Donald Margulis is one of my favorite playwrights, so I'm just happy to be here.
And which character do you play?
I play Anna. She's the matriarch of the family. Oh, Anna is, well, she's a world-famous actress, star of Broadway and film, and she's now experiencing, she's just gotten over the death of she hasn't gotten over it, but her daughter died. It's been a year, and so this is the first time they're all coming back to the house and trying to celebrate her life a year later and get on with their lives. So she's still hurting. She's really hurting from this. And kind of everything that could possibly happen wrong happens over the course of a few nights when all of these people get back together again. So there's real interesting family dynamics, and she's at the head of it because she won't put up with anything.
She really doesn't strike me as a family person. You know what I mean?
Well, I think she likes having people around her, and she loved her daughter very much. She was very proud of her because she was such a good actress, and she was, she would light up a room when you came in. Elliot, her son, not so much. He's frustrating. He doesn't do anything. He drinks too much. He just fails at everything he attempts. So she was not the best of mothers to him, I really think.
I also wonder what kind of mother was she to her daughter? Maybe she just made it all up that she was a fantastic mother to his daughter. Maybe she was a terrible mother to her daughter. Her daughter just grew up really quickly and just knew how to be an actress, knew how to do things.
I think she was really proud of her daughter, and I think she probably was. I think she doted on her daughter, and I think to the point that it was so detrimental to her son Elliot, and that's why part of why he's the way he is, because he really didn't get that any love from his mother. I think probably he reminded her of her ex-husband a lot. That's what I've got going on anyway. I think he's a devil. He's a lot of trouble.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see an extremely well-written piece. Donald Margulis is just a fabulous playwright. And, to me, it has everything. Even if you're not a theater person, and this is indeed about a theater family and just theater in general, there's still a lot of wonderful things. There's comedy and drama. It hits every note, and I think it'll touch home with everyone because of the family dynamics.
I agree. Basically, yeah. I thought it was a piece about families, but again, it was a little bit about theater. In a sense, it was the detail, about writing a play, about actor's life is just hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just not what everyone thinks it is. It's just not what you see on TV.
Well, and it's interesting because now you kind of get to see, if someone you might admire as an actor that is famous, well-known actor, and you might admire them, and then, here we are. We're seeing the other side of them, the family dynamics, what really goes on, in their lives. And it's not always perfect, right? So I think that's pretty interesting to see this background and to see the reality of it.
Well, I really loved it. I loved the characters because they were all quirky.
Yeah.
They were all flawed. It was not the family you would want to be in. Even if you were an actor and you wanted to be a fantastic actor, you would not want to be a part of this family.
Yeah, the family dynamics are crazy, and everybody's kind of in it for themselves, it seems like. But I gather that the daughter, really, Kathy, doesn't seem to be that way, because everyone talks about how radiant she was and how she lit up her room and how she was just about happiness and goodness. And I think that she was the one kind of holding it together, and things fell apart more after she died because Elliot's out of control. Everybody's on antidepressants, and nobody's really dealing with the truth. They're not really trying to move forward. They're just stumbling, So...
Yeah. Well, I love the performance. I love your performance. You remind me a bit of Meryl Streep.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
Well,
it's the nose.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A pleasure to meet you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Richard Perloff. Well, I play Walter Keegan in The Country House, and he is spoken of as a terrific director of the stage who's now moved on to a second and very lucrative career directing action movies in Hollywood. I think that he's a little bit defensive about having moved on from the theater, because in the play there are references made to how good he is with Shakespeare, how good he is with Shaw, and that doesn't happen by accident. So clearly he was a man of the theater. So I think there probably is some residual sorrow in him for having left it behind, but he's made that decision. The other thing about Walter is that he married into this family, this theater family, and with a director's eye, I think he has witnessed this kind of dysfunction for many, many, many years. So when he shows up for this anniversary of his former wife's death, he knows that he's walking into a potential, storm of some kind, and he's very wary about what's going to happen.
I think he's a man who basically knows how to live two lives. One life is basically the financial life, where he has to make money, where theater has to make money, so you have to accept its loss, or that it's dying. I guess it's always dying. But also, he does have an artist side to him. So basically, entertaining is not that easy. So he's a man of equal talents, but he knows what to give up. You know what I mean? I mean, giving up part of your passion is not an easy thing, but it's some things that people have to choose in life.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. In the big scene where he talks about having left the theater, I think he doth protest too much. The way that he comes down on theater people and their pretensions, I think that's the defensiveness showing through. He was of that world. I'm sure it brought him great joy, but not the financial success that at a certain point in his career that he craved and now has found.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
It's just a beautiful family story. It really is. I mean, it's a kind of a play it's a kind of a story that I think people are used to seeing, where a family reunites and over time secrets are revealed and skeletons come out of the closet, and a lot of stuff that has never been spoken aloud is going to be aired out. And there's some rough sledding in it, but I think ultimately it's a very positive outcome.
I agree. It was more about family than anything else. Sure. The fact that they were in show business, I guess, mattered something, but really didn't matter a whole lot. It was actually the conflict between, if you ever get to a family get together, and one guy's doing really well, the other guy isn't doing that well, so it's kind of it's very kind of awkward. Here's a guy's multimillionaire, here's a guy who's looking for a job. It's like, what we talking about? That's what the play was kind of about.
Yeah, and everybody's connected to everybody. But we've got the grandmother, and we've got her son, and then now the granddaughter's father, that's me, shows up with the new, much younger fiance. I mean, a lot of elements get thrown into the mix there that are sort of guaranteed to stir things up.
Well, I really enjoyed the play. I really enjoyed the acting. So I always loved your acting. Everyone else was always fantastic acting. I really felt like like, the grandmother was the grand dame. I felt like you were the director. I felt like, the young actors were, I just thought you guys did a fantastic job.
Thanks so much. Yeah, no, it's a great group, and we're very excited to be sharing it with audiences from here on out.
Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Franny Morrison. I've been in LA for about 5 years now, and this is my first Little Fish theater production. But yeah, mostly been doing stage out here, a few independent films.
And which character do you play tonight?
Susie. Poor Susie. You know what? No, actually not poor Susie. She has a lot to deal with. She has quite the family to keep up with. And I think she holds her own pretty well for the most part. Her relationship with Elliot, I think, is especially special for her anyway. Knowing how close he was with her mother, her late mother. So it was really fun working with Bill on that whole arc. Yeah, Susie's, kind of like Anna says, Susie's a rock, I feel like, in this whole ensemble.
Yeah, I kind of feel that she's kind of like the non-actor. She's kind of like the audience,
Almost, yeah. Yeah, she is kind of. She gets to see just all the drama that happens. And kind of keeps it to herself most of the time until, the very end.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
A family reunion and all of the what's the word I'm looking for? The things that come with a family reunion, such as the drama and then also the little jabs here and there, but also the really sweet moments too that you almost don't expect that kind of catch you off guard. Just kind of a family reunion that you don't really know what is gonna hit people the wrong way or the right way.
Well, I feel that your character in particular kind of, well, first of all, she wasn't an actor. And I think the reason was because she saw the family around and said, I do not want to be like these people. In fact, I think that's the reason why she got into psychiatry.
Oh, yeah, probably. You know what? I think you're absolutely right. And especially growing up with it, like seeing both her grandmother and her mother just acting all the time and just being able to watch them on and off stage, just that whole, like you said, kind of psychosis of it and just the behavior of it all and trying to make sense of it.
Well, I really enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Patrick Vest. We're doing Country House here. I'm playing Michael, who's a TV star who's coming back to Williamstown to perform and celebrate his dear friend who died a year ago.
What's your take on Michael?
I think he's really, it's a great line that Walter says. He says, you're just here to seek absolution. And really it's very interesting because within the first minutes of everybody I see, I tell them how sorry I am that I wasn't here and that Kathy died and I wasn't around. So I think that, and he's also lost. He has this hit TV show, but he hates it. His life is kind of empty because what he really wants to do is art, make great things, and he's not, and he's lost, and nobody sort of understands that. And so when he meets Nell and she gets it, it sort of is like, holy, somebody gets me. And so I think that's his arc.
I kind of like the character. Well, first of all, obviously I admired him. He was successful and all that. He was popular. But more than that, he had a soul to him. He actually went out to Africa to help the poor. He actually would do theater just because of the art behind it. Mm-hmm. He admired people not because of what they could do for him, but actually because of who they were.
Right, I think that's true, and I think they're like the stages of the artists that you see within the play. I mean, you get Walter, who is completely sold out, and he's fine with it. He's making big movies now. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the theater at all. You have Elliot, who is stewing in his own failure about not having made it for his mother. And you have Michael, who's made it, but then he is miserable in what he made, and so how does he give back? Because I think he had a little bit of a drug problem out in California, and he said, okay, I need to do something, and that's what he did. He started building schools for underprivileged people in the Congo.
And my viewers come by and see this piece. What should they expect to see?
Well, I think it's if you love theater, you're gonna love this play. It has a little bit of everything. It has a lot of comedy, but it's got real heart, and Donald Margulies is a wonderful writer, and this is our third play we've done to his, and we're, really lucky to have his voice in the country writing plays like this.
Yeah, I believe that what you described was the first half of the play. The second half of the play got really intense.
It does.
Yeah.
It's about family. Yeah, there's lots of family dynamics. So the first half you're dealing with the loss of a dear part of the family, and the second half you're dealing with the disappointment, and loss of the people who survived.
Well, I really love the performance. I love your performance.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Mara Rose Pike. I'm an actress, and we just opened the show The Country House at Little Fish.
Great. Which character did you play?
I played Nell McNally. Nell is the new fiancée of a famous Hollywood producer, and she herself is sort of a struggling Los Angeles actress trying to, make it in the world of TV, and she's come to this country house at Williamstown Theater Festival, and she's sort of surrounded by people who are very famous and successful. So it's nerve-wracking in that she's meeting her new fiancé's family and trying to make friends with his daughter, but also it's exciting and nerve-wracking because she's a little bit starstruck.
Interesting, you played it that way, because some people could have made her like a real gold digger, subtly putting it in there and make it a little more, a little more tawdry, you know what I mean? But you played it a little more innocent.
I feel like there's a lot of reference in the play to her actually being a really good, grounded person, and it actually is referenced, the daughter character, Susie, says, "You don't seem like the gold-digging type," and, Walter says about her, there's a lot of things that remind me of your mother, so I feel like she's written to be a little bit not a gold-digger type and a little bit more of a grounded woman who's just an actress.
If my viewers decide come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
It's a beautiful script. Donald Margulies is an amazing playwright, and it's written in a very kind of fast conversational way, so it moves. The play really moves on its feet. And what we really see unfolding is a family drama in the wake of a tragedy, in the wake of we're meeting on the 1-year anniversary of somebody's death, but the way that the family comes together and sort of processes that differently is very healing and sometimes really funny and definitely poignant.
I meet a lot of famous people in my interviews. I interview like 1,000 people a year, and I've actually interviewed like 3 Tony Award-winning actors, some Emmy Award-winning directors, a lot of writers on television and all that. And actually, after you get to know them, they're actually very uninteresting people. I mean, in terms of their art and all that, they go to work basically is what they do, but they sometimes do have traumas about that. So that's what I really liked about this piece. It actually illustrated that very well.
That the characters that are written as these famous actors, that you can actually start to see them as real people and who they are behind the scenes. Yeah, I really love that too.
Well, I really enjoyed the piece. I loved the acting. I thought you guys were fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
The Country House will be playing at Little Fish Theater from April 4th to April 28th. For more information, go to www.littlefishtheater.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Gary Marshall Theater for their presentation of The Root Beer Bandits, a Rootin' Tootin' Wild West Musicale. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Josie Montana McCoy, Josey, Montana, just like the state, and McCoy, McCoy.
Actually, you've always done that. You've always kind of spelled your name, and I'm thinking to remember your name. You ever think about changing your name to say, like, Joe Montana McCoy?
No, thank you. I'm not a 49er fan. I'm a Packer fan all the way, baby.
Well, if it's more theater, how about Joe Montana McCoy?
Okay, that might work. That might work a little better, yeah. Maybe I can get on Criminal Minds with that name.
Right. Okay. So basically, could I get either a brief intro, either a brief bio, an introduction, or just anything you want to say?
Cool. Well, I'm Josie McCoy. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I've been in L.A. for 8 years. Happy to see you here again at another opening night. Root Beer Bandits is a really, really fun show. We've had so much fun putting this together, from the rehearsal time that we've had with each other, where we get to goof around, and we're doing all these crazy things in hoedown dances and all this stuff, and beautiful dresses that the girls are wearing, and it's also so fun to see the kids out here and to teach them this good message, this really fun, wholesome message.
The Root Beer Bandits, a Rootin' Tootin' Wild West Musicale, will be playing at the Gary Marshall Theater from April 4th to April 28th. For more information, go to www.garymarshalltheater.org.